Hey up, Bodgers. This week's video we've got this beauty from, what year did you say?
1970, I believe.
1970, 71. One of the last moggies actually to come off the production line, but we'll get to that. So yeah, in police trim. There was a couple of different forces that had a slightly different pattern to them, but yeah, we'll get into that. If it's good enough for Johnny Smith at the Late Break Show, it's good enough for me. I'm going to be reading from my notes, right? Because I can't remember shit. Right. Designed by Alex Izagonis, designer of the Mini and several other iconic vehicles in Britain. Designed in the mid-40s, the war had just come to an end nicely, and we needed our version of the Beetle, basically, to mobilise the population, get the economy going again after the war, and this is what Morris came up with. It was cheap and affordable for middle management, shall we say. You're a working man, still a little way off. It was shown at Earls Court at the motor show for the first time in 1948, and production started that same year. Similar to the Beetle, it was originally designed for a flat 4, believe it or not. Don't know why. You'd think they'd have learnt from the Beetle, but you know. But the switch to the 918, and it was a flathead. I'll insert a picture here somewhere of what the flathead engine looked like. I've never seen one in a minor at all. If you know of one, send me some pictures because I really want to see that. Yeah, it was a flathead inline 4, top speed 64 miles an hour. Wasn't a police car by then, that came later. 4-door came in 1950, and the wood frame Traveller, you'll see the one with all the, basically a shed on the back, that came in 1953, and in 56 it got the 948 engine. Then in 62 came the 1098, this is a 1098 or an 1100. That was the A series engine, using basically anything that was Austin from, what, 60 something onwards, 660, whenever. Everything was all A series by then, from some 62 onwards. 1964, the Police Act legislation came in, and that governed how local police forces operated. Bit of an amalgamation. We're trying to cut costs as always. Nothing's changed. So what we'll do is get rid of the bobbies on the beat, stick them all in the car, and then cover more of an area. It's not a new idea, know what I mean? Something we should return to maybe, but it's not a new idea. So each police force was charged with getting their own vehicles. They could buy whatever they wanted within their budget. So the first ones that came out, the first police cars, they basically walked into the dealership, I'll take 2 of those and 2 of those. They had no lights, no bells, nothing on them to suggest there was a police car. Later on, obviously, it was little bit naughty, so what they started to do was buy them in different colours. So you'd buy a blue one and a white one, take the doors off, stick the white doors on the blue car and the blue doors on the white car. And this is how they ended up with the phrase the panda car in Britain. Most police cars are still known as panda cars, or later on became jam sandwiches because he had a red line running through the middle of them, whatever. So yeah, the police forces themselves got a little bit more free rein as to what vehicles they could get. Morris Minor, because it was cheap but reliable, it was the one of choice. Bear with me. Yeah, each force, blah, blah, blah. Should have rehearsed this really, shouldn't I? Yeah, no beacons, nothing on the early cars, nothing. And eventually they got like the 2 tones, and this one's got a bell on it. We don't know if it works, we'll have to have an experiment. Yeah. most variant used was the 4-door version, but there was like Edinburgh Police Force, they used the Traveller, and vans and things were used for traffic control. The new motorway system was coming in the 60s, and they needed something that they could shut lanes off with and stuff. The car wasn't going to cut it, so they used the Morris Minor van and the Morris Traveller. Total of 1,619,958 were built, and a lot of them exported. They ended up in Africa, some even ended up in America. If you're in America and you've seen one of these, let me know. So yeah, they had a long, rich history. They became a British icon on film and television, and they became part of the family for a lot of families that could afford them. So yeah, as a vehicle, as a British vehicle, you look at any of the films, TV from the period, from the 60s, 70s, they've all got Morris Minors in the background, and some of them even became the star of the actual show. I'll hint at that later on, you'll see some of that. And then, as of January 2025, the Dal Motors, I believe they're Indian, something like that, because they had the Morris Oxford they produced for a long time, and they called it something else. They announced that they was going to come out with a new Morris Minor. Keep some of the same looks, all new car obviously, and they're going to make it a hybrid, whatever. But you know, the Morris Minor name will live on again, and I quite like that, and I quite like the thought of them looking something similar to what they do now. I'll put pictures in of what that car looks like, because it is quite new, the whole thing is quite new, and it's coming out. Yeah, so it became an icon for decades. I don't know, let's put that down. I don't know how Johnny does it. So yeah, became an icon, and I'm going to insert some video and some pictures, and we'll show you all that. In the meantime, what I'm going to do is going to have a word with Adi, because this is coming to his workshop for work. So we'll swap the camera over as soon as he's filming. Don't you press stop at all. Adi, blowing 8-cylinder, links in the description.
Hi there folks.
So, what we're doing with it?
Well, it's in for an engine health check. It runs, but it doesn't run the best. Makes some strange noises. So the owner asked if I would take a look, give it a health check, and then we can take it from there as to what we do with it. Yeah.
So there'll be a series on his channel. Like I say, I'll link to his channel on there, and when it comes up on the playlists, another couple of videos, you'll have a playlist out. We'll add this video to that as well, and yeah, I'll put links in, and you can go watch the playlist on that as it develops. So
yeah, the next one, well, video number 2 is out tomorrow. It depends when people are watching.
It does depend when people are watching.
Yeah, so there might be a few more by the time you watch.
But he'll put this at the beginning of the playlist, because then it'll make sense as to what it is, and what he's going to be doing with it. Yeah. Whatever.
You can give me that payment later.
Yeah, all right.
Are you going to give the viewers a look around?
We'll have a look around. We'll have a look around. So yeah, let's have a look inside. This was a police car all the way through, wasn't it? The police. It's always been. So, you know, so what we have is a classic dashboard, and a big old M there for Morris, but we've also got radio gear from the period, and this here telephone thing. So yeah, some of the fittings in here are a little bit different. And this is where the local scrote would end up in the back of. We've got a couple of police helmets. What's a zip for on here?
On the headlining?
Yeah, is that to get to the thing on the top?
Apparently it's unique to the police cars.
So there you go. That's unique to the police cars. Nice little, these little switches and things. So yeah, something of an icon in Britain, in the UK. Later on, after they were used in the 60s and 70s, they all became family cars, and then heading into the 1980s. A lot of them ended up customised, because when you look at the shape of them, yeah, like the 1940s, 50s Americana vehicles, just on a slightly smaller scale for British roads. I might even chuck some pictures of them in. So yeah, there we go. So it's what else do we want to see? It's been fitted with a tow bar later. They didn't have tow bars as a police car. Pretty daft. But yeah, looks well, doesn't it? I quite like that. Quite like that. So yeah, so it's goodbye from me. Goodbye from him, I suppose. I'll leave a link to his channel, and then obviously later on I'll add the playlist into the description below. And I'm quite looking forward to seeing how this one progresses. I think as a vehicle they're quite amazing, really, as the old Moggy. I had minis, but all much of a muchness, really, weren't they? Designed by the same fella, Alex Isagonis. So yeah, there we go. I'll see you next time. There's going to be some pictures and videos coming up after this, and you'll be able to get an idea and a feel of just how important these cars were to the British. And in the meantime, take care of yourselves, take care of each other. I'll see you next time. He'll see you next time.
Catch you soon, folks.
Enjoy the videos and the pictures.